Hey guys, my name is Elizabeth and welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. So today I have a very exciting video because I will be sharing my UBC application journey. I will be sharing with you the story of how I got into UBC, how I applied, the timelines of everything, just kind of give you guys a look into how the application process worked and like the timelines of everything, because I know when I was applying, I really wanted to know once I applied, how long will I have to wait to hear back, when do deadlines open, when's the latest date that I can hear back, just all the things like that. So I just wanted to share with you guys my journey and my story so that you can just have an idea of what you might be able to expect. Obviously these are all my own experiences and it probably won't be the same for you, but I just felt like sharing this with you guys and hopefully it will help you in some way. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Now, just to preface for some context, I am a British citizen, so I applied as an international student, although I did go to Canadian school, so I had like Canadian BC grades. My experience might be different from you guys, say if you're an international student applying from the UK or another international country. So just to let you know, I was an international student, but I was applying from a Canadian school. And so now with that context out the way, let's set the scene. It was a beautiful summer's day in July 2019, and my parents had booked a campus tour at UBC. So I had never been there before. I knew it was a great school. I knew that I definitely was considering it as one of the universities I wanted to apply to. But I'd never seen it, didn't really have any more impression of it other than knowing that it was a school in BC that I was considering. So going there, I definitely had an open mind and was just ready to see what UBC was all about. So when we got there, I absolutely fell in love with the campus. I just found it so beautiful. It was so refreshing to see the greenery and just how they integrated like landscapes with the buildings and with the campus. It was so aesthetically pleasing. I was like, wow, this campus is beautiful. The tour guide was amazing. Just having a whole day to be immersed in UBC campus and be immersed in what life is like as a student there really opened my eyes and made me think, I need to go here. Like, this is the place for me. I absolutely loved that day. So as I said, that was in July. So it was a few months before applications had opened, or a few months before I had to really start considering applying to universities. So months went by and then finally it got to September. And September 2019 is when applications dropped. So a thing to note about this is that I don't remember ever seeing a specific date where the UBC applications dropped. It was kind of just early September, like on the website it just said applications will open early to late September. And I was just like, it doesn't really help. Like, I wanted like a specific date where I can go and start applying, you know. I wanted to kind of have that context. But so just keep in mind that they don't do that, or at least last year I don't remember seeing on the UBC website a specific date that they say applications open this day. So just be aware of that. Keep checking the website constantly and seeing, because it will just drop. I remember I was just talking to my career advisor and she was the one who told me, yeah, UBC applications are open now. And I was like, what? I've been checking every day. How did I not notice that they're open already? So keep checking every day throughout September and you'll be able to catch it. Up to this point, I was just looking at various universities. I wasn't really considering going outside of BC just because I wanted to stay close to my family and like stay in the area. So either I was going to go to BC or I was even thinking of going back to England and seeing what my options were there. At this point, I decided, okay, I'll just stay in BC, so let's look at the universities in BC. We have UBC, SFU, and Trinity Western. Those are 3 universities that I applied to in total, but in this video I'll just be focusing on UBC, but I'll be touching on those 2 a bit, just so you guys can have an idea of how those application timelines work as well. So I started writing my application since applications dropped, but I wanted to give myself enough time, so I didn't actually submit my application until just a few days before the deadline. The deadline at the time was December 1st, so I was adamant on getting my application in November 30th, just so I could have enough time to keep editing my essays to make sure that my personal profile answers were the best that they could be, basically. So I was looking at my different types of extracurriculars and work experience. I'd done a few things in England as well that I was bringing into applications, like my first job, etc. I might actually make another video that goes more in depth about what I wrote in my personal profile essays, like how I answered the questions and what sort of things I included. So if you guys would like to see my tips towards how to best answer your personal profile questions, make sure to comment down below and let me know, because I'd love to make that video for you guys. One thing in this video that I really wanted to harp on and just very clearly say is that I've heard many teachers say that, oh, you have to have experience over years and years and years. Like, you need to show that you can commit and be really dedicated to your passions and just show that you can have a long-term commitment and like not give up on things so easily and be dedicated, which I completely agree with. I think that's totally valid. You need to show that you can stick to things and you're not like someone who will flip-flop, and you can be committed and be disciplined in that way to like stick at things for a long amount of time. But one thing I do want to make clear is that it's okay to maybe have a 1 day of work experience here, 1 week of work experience here, or just have done a work experience that maybe you think isn't so significant or isn't that impressive, because as long as you show personal growth and show what you've learned from that experience, that is what the university want to see. They want to see that you can be proactive and that you can take away things from experiences, take away things that you've learned that you've applied to different aspects of your life. So it doesn't have to be that you've done something for a whole year and you've stuck at it and you've been really dedicated, because that is one thing that is really impressive to definitely put in your application. But then I just don't want you to think that just because you've only had 1 week of experience at a hospital or 1 week of experience volunteering at a certain organization, that is not good enough and that you should just leave it out of your application. Because as long as you can show what you've learned, show the lessons that you've learned from that, what things you've taken away from that experience that you've put into other aspects of your life, then that is also really valid and really impressive, and you should definitely include that. So I just want to harp on the fact that even if you have 1 day of experience, show what you have learned from that experience, reflect on it, show all the sorts of things that you could take away from that experience, and put that in the application, because I'm so sure that the university will love to see all the contributing factors to your character, like what has built you to the person you are today. That's all they want to see. Not just that you have done something for a long period of time, but the things that you've taken away from that. But I just want to stress again that having long spans of commitment is very good and very important and really impressive, and something that universities love to see. They love to see commitment. But I just don't want anyone to be deterred and think, oh no, I haven't done anything for 2 years, or I haven't really been able to commit to an organization. Maybe just because you haven't had time in your schedule, you've had to look after your family, or whatever situation it is that you haven't really been able to commit to something for a long period of time, doesn't mean that you can't get into the University of British Columbia, or any university for that matter. Because as long as you have experience, you can extract the valuable lessons that you learned in those experiences out and put them into your essay and show the lessons that you've learned and the way you've improved as a person through that experience. That is what is most important. Anyways, I'm sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. I just really wanted to make sure that I articulated that properly. Anyways, I hope that made sense. I'm sorry. So back to my journey. I applied at the end of November. November 30th is when I submitted my application, and I said, UBC, critique me. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but the December 1st deadline was a deadline for early decision, for you to hear whether you got accepted between January and February. So the regular decision deadline was January 15th. And I just want to note that the only reason I applied for the early decision is just because I wanted to be able to find out whether I got accepted early. But I know that for Canadian students and home students, you can apply by December 1st and be considered for the entrance scholarship. As an international student, applying before December 1st won't make me eligible for the domestic entrance scholarships. So when I applied, I knew that I wasn't going to be considered for those scholarships. But as long as you apply before January 15th as an international student, you will be eligible to be considered for the international scholarships. So I knew that by applying by November 30th, I will still be eligible to be considered for those. So just bear that in mind, that as long as an international student, at least for my year, I know it might change year to year. As long as you apply before January 15th as an international student, you'll be considered for the international entrance scholarships. Also, another thing to note is that for my year, for some reason, the deadline was extended till December 2nd. So although I was trying to apply just before the deadline was still extended by 1 more day. So just bear in mind that that could also happen as well, depending on the circumstances of that year. Especially with COVID, I'm not sure how that will work, but just to give you a bit of an insight into that they can change deadlines and let you know beforehand. Months rolled by, December came and went, we had a lovely Christmas and everything, and it was time to hear back from UBC for early decision. So from mid-January to the end of February is when UBC were going to be announcing their acceptances for early decision. January went, heard nothing. Then February came and I was starting to get more panicked and nervous, like, okay, you know, early decisions are almost finished, like I still hadn't heard anything at this point. Oh, and I should mention that but at this point I had applied to both Trinity and SFU, and I had heard back from Trinity and I had got in. I always thought if I'm not going to UBC, then I'll go to Trinity. So I guess in hindsight, I don't know why I applied to SFU. Anyways, back to where I was. So yeah, February had come around and I had not heard anything either. And it was the end of the month, I think 26th of February to be exact. And all my friends that had applied early decision got emails saying that they had been accepted. I think it was around 5:30 in the evening. They were all Snapchatting me like, hey, I just got accepted, check your inbox, you might have got accepted too. And I checked my inbox and there was still nothing. So as much as I was so happy for them, I was really disappointed in myself. I just felt like I hadn't done enough, that my application wasn't good enough. I got really nervous at that point. But I was so happy for my friends that they had heard early and that they were guaranteed going to UBC. So the day after, my friend who had been accepted went to our biology teacher just to tell her, because our biology teacher also went to UBC. My friend told my biology teacher and she was so happy for her. My biology teacher then asked me and I was like, no, I still haven't heard anything just yet. And she was really happy for my friend and I was so excited for my friend too. But she also like comforted me a bit and said, don't worry, like when I applied, I'm so sure I heard back in April. I remember it was a very sunny spring day. She was like, and they used to send acceptances through letters back then. So I just checked my postbox and the letter was there for my acceptance like mid-April time. So don't worry, you still have time to hear back. That really comforted me. I need to know that, okay, maybe I haven't heard now, but just because I haven't heard early decision doesn't mean that I will not hear later on. Like there's still time to be accepted. So then March came around and I still not heard anything, and it was about the time that we were all going to be breaking up for spring break. So we were all kind of excited to have the 2 weeks off. Little did we know that that last day before spring break would be our last day ever at the school. So the last day came and we all broke up for spring break, and then COVID happened and we were all just stuck at home in quarantine. It could definitely be said that our worlds turned upside down. So yes, you could definitely say that our worlds turned upside down. I'm sorry, I keep making Hamilton references, but I mean, like, if you haven't seen it, please see it. Find a way to see Hamilton. The cards are telling me to stop. During this time, after it had been announced that schools were closed indefinitely and then we don't know when we will be coming back and all the craziness of COVID was happening, UBC released an article on their admissions blog, which I had been checking religiously every day. I was like looking for new updates. And they had released this article titled "Your UBC Application, How COVID Will Affect It," something to that end, like talking about how COVID-19 and the current situation of the world will affect our application. And they basically said in that article that you'll still get your acceptance letter and be told whether you would have been admitted or not. The process was still running, it was just a bit delayed because of COVID. But reading this article for some reason made me so nervous. I was just like, oh my gosh, now I'm in this group where our applications are kind of in the air, that they don't know what they're going to do with them. And I was just so nervous for no reason, to be honest, because they were trying to reassure us in this article. I just took it as more fuel to be really anxious and nervous about the whole thing. Safe to say that reading that article did not calm my nerves, but it was good to know they weren't just leaving us in the dark about everything. So after receiving that update from UBC about our applications and how they're affected by COVID, life kind of started to slow down, the craziness died down. Yes, we were still in quarantine, still stuck in our houses, but we were all kind of just adjusting to this new normal. And March came to an end and we were finally in April, my birthday month. April had come around and I was still just waiting to hear back from UBC, but I stopped worrying about it too much. I was still checking the UBC admissions blog every day. But yeah, so April was just looking to kind of be the same as March. It's important to keep note that the last day to hear back from UBC was April 30th, so the deadline to hear back was drawing closer and closer, but I was just calm and just accepting that it will come when it will come. And then on that fateful day of April 14th, bang in the middle of April basically, I got a little notification on my phone, a little email in my inbox at exactly 4:35 on April 14th saying that I had been accepted into UBC. I was so happy, I was so excited. I was just like chilling with my sister in her room, my phone was face down. I hadn't even, and I usually have my phone on silent, so I didn't even think to check it. I just picked it up to start using it and I saw Gmail. And just to say, I had seen the Gmail notification on my phone so many times in the past few months. And every time I was like, could this be it? Could this be it? And it was never it. But this time I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh, that's probably not it. Used my Face ID to unlock it and there it was. There was my acceptance to UBC. After I saw that email, I just went, And my sister was like, oh no, what happened? And I showed her. She was so happy too, and it was just such a great and joyous time. After I had told her, we tried to make it a surprise for my parents. So we both went upstairs and I had my phone, the email like ready on my phone, and my sister was recording. She told them like to come downstairs, and I was just like, so that's some good news. I got into UBC and they were so happy for me too. We were like screaming and happy and joyous and dancing. We weren't dancing, but we were just so joyous and just so ecstatic that all this time the wait was worth it. I had finally been accepted. I had to wait since the end of November, so it was only like 3.5 months. But good things come to those who wait, and I waited and I was accepted. So that was so awesome. Sorry for rambling on about that. I just wanted to capture the excitement that we felt. And what I thought was really wholesome and kind of full circle about the whole thing is that my biology teacher also got her acceptance in mid-April. So for me to also get my acceptance in mid-April, it just felt like, wow, that comfort that she gave me like 2 months ago, it came to realization on this day. Like I had to wait, and it came to pass that I was able to be accepted in April, just like she was. So that was the story of my application process, the timeline of it all, how I started in July, looking at campus saying, this is the university for me, then starting my application in September time, submitting it in November, and then not hearing back until April, but it all being worth the wait. And what was really awesome was that I was able to accept my admission on my birthday, 10 days after I had been accepted. On the 24th of April, we were like, yes, this is the day that we can accept. The best birthday present you can ever get, being able to go to your dream university. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you to kind of understand the timelines of everything when you're applying to the University of British Columbia. I'm so glad that I was able to share this story with you guys. If you guys would want to hear more about the UBC application process and just have any more like video requests of what you would want me to talk about UBC, let me know in the comments. I would love to make lots of UBC content for you guys, because I know I was certainly looking for it when I was applying. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like it and hit subscribe so you can join me on this YouTube journey and join me as I talk more about UBC and just about my life and share my life with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to, like if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!